Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here with you. I'm Axel de Coursac, partner KPMG in charge of AI topics, and I have the pleasure to welcome Sébastien. Sébastien.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sébastien. I am the Chief Data and Digital Officer of FDJ United. FDJ United is right at the corner behind. It's a global and pan-European gaming and entertainment company, headquartered in France, but now with very global operations.
So today we want to speak, to present you and to speak about Agentic AI. Agentic AI, this is something that is already impacting a lot enterprise, but we speak a lot about this concept. There is also a lot of marketing. And so we wanted to demystify a little bit the concept and to see real, concrete use case and examples with you. But maybe first, yes, a first question is, what is an AI agent? And I wanted to ask your opinion. So I will give you 3 examples of AI systems, and you can vote if for you it's an AI agent or not. So the first one, this is a chatbot with LLM that answers to your HR question. Is it an AI agent or not, to your opinion? Who wants to say it's an AI agent? No? Nobody? Okay. Second one is AI system that proposes 3 versions of LinkedIn post from a media brief. Is it AI agent from your opinion? Yes or no? No, no, okay. And the third one, this is an AI tool that takes a marketing brief that generates a campaign, a media campaign, and then can localize the different content, launch the deployment in the different channels, and then consolidate the results without human intervention. Is it an AI agent or not? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So I guess you will confirm the result. What's your definition, Sébastien, on AI agents?
Yeah, absolutely. What's key about Agentic AI is really bringing AI to the next level. Historically, AI has been very powerful at helping you make a decision, treat a large volume of data, and come up with a recommendation. When it comes to Agentic AI, in my opinion, it's with agent means action. Action means you go way beyond just providing a recommendation. You actually take autonomously some steps, some reasoning, some activities that go up ultimately to an action. And any good AI tool that is augmented by Agentic AI goes to typically integrates the typical AI component like machine learning to analyze a large volume of data, but goes to the next level by, for example, in your case, taking the action of selecting the information and retrieving the information, using it to take ultimately an action with the customer. And this is where really it's differentiated and where the latest innovations that we've seen with the agentic models that have been flooding the market over the last year have really made a difference and are coming very, very concrete. Even in the hands of the employees, which is for me the very big difference as well, where typically AI was a bit behind the scene. Now it's really in the hands of the employees that can take action together with the agent.
Yes. So.
And what's your view, by the way? Like, does it connect with what you've seen with your clients as well?
Yes. Actually, so. If we take your definition of agent, so where you can delegate some autonomous tasks, we see that all or almost all the sectors are thinking about deploying AI agents. But even more than this, the different parts of the value chain are impacted. So I propose to give you 3 examples. So on very upstream part of the value chain, in R&D in biopharma sector, for example, where R&D is very important, we see a lot of applications with AI agent, but principally three points. The first point is how to to write automatically, but with human supervision, scientific reports, including all the different scientific quotes, references, citations that are very important, of course. The second point is how to check the regulatory conformity. Yes, which is also very important. And the third point is how to simulate with agent virtual experiments.
In a way, you're building kind of an augmented researcher, or like
exactly
with an assistant next to him to augment all of his tasks.
And yes, but even it's not only one assistant, it's maybe one assistant that can delegate different autonomous actions to the team of agents. And the result is that it permits to multiply by 3 the productivity on the different phases of documentation, for example, to accelerate time to market. This is just the beginning for virtual simulations, and also to reduce very significantly the errors in the conformity part. Maybe another example, a little upstream. So in the operation part, in banking for KYC process. So KYC, this is know your customers. So we have developed with the bank a collection of agents. So you have an orchestrator agent that will verify, check the different client profiles. So and depending on the client profile, it will activate different agents for the checks. So you have another agent also that collects the different information on the different unstructured textual documents and organize the information. And then you have also agents that will evaluate the risk. So you have, for example, an agent that we have constructed on transaction scoring. You have another one for collecting public data on your client, for example, negative bad press. You have another one that will research the proximity of clients with entity you would like to avoid. And so a collection of agents that will evaluate the risk. You will also another agent that will contact the client in case of missing information, and he can contact several times per day, so without until he gets the information. And at the end, also an agent that will summarize and consolidate the risk report.
Interesting. What's interesting with your use case is you see the multiplicity of the different contributors, different agents with specific tasks. And what I really like is also that it's very modular. You can decide to deploy one specific agent and a fleet of agents and orchestrate them, which is also a very big differentiation with typical IT projects that are typically massive, like a CRM, where you deploy a big brick and it takes you years to deploy. Here, you can go and be very focused. Maybe what I can do is also share with you a very concrete example that you can actually see behind me. On the stand, you have a video, by the way, and you can ask to get a demo if you're interested, which is our first AI agent we are piloting right now for our sales force. Just to tell you a bit about our business so that you understand, how it can concretely help. FDJ United is a conglomerate now that is across Europe and also in Oceania. But the historic core of the company is the Française des Jeux. Française des Jeux operates a lottery business in France under a monopoly. And this business involves animating a group of 30,000 point of sale across France that we don't own, so it's an asset-light business. We own the gaming business, but then we operate with commercial partners that distribute our products. And for that, we have 600 people that are part of our commercial and Salesforce team, of which approximately 50%, so 300, are field Salesforce. Field Salesforce, what they do, every week they visit their point of sale, to talk about the latest product, to make sure that the point of sale are compliant with the law, that they also protect underage minors, etc. So that we have a number of things that we commit to do as a company to make sure that our games are put in the right hands and are promoted properly in the point of sale. And of course, these salespeople, they got hired to spend time with the customer, because they like this job of being close to the customer, listening to them, promoting the product, etc. But of course, behind the scene, they do a lot of administrative tasks. They write reports for their visits. They place orders when the customers want something, etc., etc. So here we saw great opportunity to help them automate this part of their job, which is actually not sales, which is more like sales support or sales operations behind the scene. And this is where Agent and Agentic AI comes into play.
And Sébastien, how much can you gain by helping with AI agents?
Yeah, so today we estimate that approximately 50%, 50 to 55% of their time is actually commercial time. Time that is efficient at being in front of the customer, supporting them, and where you actually need a human to do that. The rest of the 45-50% is actually admin tasks, and most of it can be automated. So our goal, hopefully, within the next couple of years, is to automate 50% of this 50%, where we believe there is a potential to actually have agent take over and become kind of the intern or the assistant, the daily assistant of the sales guy on the field to take over some of the tasks. How does it work concretely?
And maybe I think productivity is not the only gain. So
exactly. So you know, when you talk productivity, you talk to the salespeople. When you tell them, guys, I'm going to help you get rid of your admin tasks, they love it, because you know. But they tell me, I didn't get hired to do all this admin. I got hired to do this sales task. And by the way, even in my job description, half of my tasks were not on it. I didn't know I would have to do all of that. So it's also a matter of replacing also the human part of the job at the core of the job, which is the part that no AI will be able to take over. The new human. So in a way, and maybe that's a bit provocative, but AI places back humans at the center of the universe and takes over the non-human part of the job to really focus humans on the human part. So when you think about transforming that, it means the first step that we did, that is actually on the booth today, which is producing the visit reports. Visit reports typically, when you go work along with the sales guys, they complete that, walking when they go to their cars, at night when they are back at home, and they forgot half of the meeting because it's 5 hours later. So we built first an agent to actually help them consolidate the reports. So it's very simple. It's like a ChatGPT on their tablet. They talk to it, and we trained the agent to actually know how to write a good report. So they know what must be in it, and it will iterate with the salesperson to make sure that you have the right data at the end. And what's great is that you first build an asset, which is the customer knowledge. This customer knowledge in the past was in the head of the salespeople, and maybe 10% was written. So once you have this amazing raw material available, this is where Agentic comes into play. Agentic can take action, so we can actually go and read the report, and with semantic analysis, figure out that actually, you need to have a call back of this person next week on this specific thing. So we have salespeople who are in the call center who can do that automatically. Schedule that into the calendar of the salespeople in the agency. Other example. When we go, we actually figure out, we look at the stock of product that they have, and we can actually reorder some products. And when in the report you say, actually, they have a very low stock on this, the AI will actually understand exactly what the customer wants, and propose to the salesperson to automatically trigger a reordering or reshelving of some of the products. Before, what do you have to do? You actually have to call somebody at the center to actually take the order manually in the system. So with Agentic AI, it takes over that part, and again, free up the time of the salesperson to take this 1-2 more minutes to be with the customer. So you can see that it helps throughout the journey, and it's very concrete. And you can decide to do one agent, which is the ordering agent or the calling agent, but you can imagine a fleet of 50 agents tomorrow that will take a number of different tasks. But what's great is that you don't have at the beginning to be clear on what you want to do. You can experiment, do one agent. It takes you a few weeks to build it, to put it in production. You experiment it, you get the value, great. You build the next agent. So it's very modular.
So modularity is the key, okay. And it permits, as you mentioned, also to improve your data and your customer knowledge. I think that's also an unplanned gain of Agentic AI.
Exactly, and then imagine what the CRM can do on top of that when you want to actually get to know your customer much better. And in the case, we have two types of customers. We have, of course, the distributors who are distributing our products. We need to get to know them to actually know the products that actually work with them, the products that are able to promote properly, and the one that they don't promote properly. So we actually learn from it. But also, you can imagine that you can have that, put that in facing with the customers when in a direct-to-customer model. We also have a direct-to-customer model online, and it can also work this way.
So, and maybe can you detail a little bit this other branch, so the online part? I think it's a business with a big increasing
big potential.
Yes, big potential.
Yes.
And maybe you are closer to your customers, to your end customers in this business. So what can you do with agents?
Yeah, exactly. So it's new. Actually, it's new for the historic Française des Jeux. It's actually new to actually be direct to customer, actually get to know your customer, because guess what? In point of sale, all of the customers are typically totally anonymous. So we started to build about 5 years ago, accelerate 5 years ago, the online business for lottery. So you actually can play all of your lottery games online, and you don't have to go in a point of sale to actually run for the big. By the way, I do a little promotion, but there is the biggest ever jackpot in EuroMillion tonight. 250 million. It's the biggest in history.
Advertisement.
So advertisement for 2 seconds. So play it because it could be a good surprise.
Never know.
And then we started to build also an online betting and gaming. So you might know the brand Parions Sport in France, but we also acquired last year a big European brand called Unibet. So Unibet operates in 15 countries across Europe and in Oceania, and is a major online player for sports betting and poker. And as soon as you move to that business, you move into a direct-to-customer business. And of course, behind the scene, we also need to make sure that we are close to them and we understand them and we promote the right products. We also need to protect them. This is also actually the duty in the space of gaming. We are here to we call that responsible gaming. We need to make sure that our customer can afford to play, and we even stop them from playing at one point to make sure that they don't go over the limit. And this is where Agentic AI can also come into play, and we are starting to think about it right now, which is, in the past, we've been scoring clients. When you are a client online and you play a lot, you might have an email after you have played way above your average to tell you, by the way, my friend, you've played 200 euros in one night. It's a lot of money. Make sure that you are aware of that, and here's all your gaming from the past 2 days. We want to go beyond. We want to be, hopefully, to intervene. So today the intervention comes in the form of a call from an agent. When you go way above the limit, you have a call from an agent the next day, or they leave a message on your voicemail to make you aware of it. With Agentic AI, you can go beyond and be much more reactive. For example, you have some people who play, who have a game crave at night. And I've seen examples of people who are, playing on lottery games like 5,000 times in a night, from midnight to 6 a.m. So typically, these are people who are very much addicted to the games. And if you if you wait for typical intervention, what it does, you get a call the next day. But the problem is that the issue was in the night. It was not the next day, and we won't call you at 4 a.m. in the morning to intervene. So with agents, you can actually put an agent in front of and take an action to maybe stop the client from playing again. So for example, what we're experimenting is you have a replay button on some of the games online. The replay button, the agent will take the decision to make it disappear in the interface. So that you are forced to actually log out of the game and log out of your account and relog to make sure that you actually take maybe the 2-3 minutes to think about your gaming pattern. And then when you relog in, have a message, a video, like depending on the pattern, to make sure that you take the time to think. Because when you are in typical like addiction patterns, you might just be in automated mode, and you might click and click and click and click. So you can see that an agent can actually be much more effective than a human in this case, because he is able or it is able to intervene when a human is not available.
So responsible AI can push responsible gaming, and do you use responsible AI also for this?
Yeah, exactly. So, and then behind the scene is to make sure that your AI are auditable. So responsible AI is a big topic for us, because we are facing customers in a business that is also very sensitive, as you see. Basically, you have this, and alcohol can be addictive. So these are the type of businesses where you want to make sure that your customer is well protected, and a well protected customer comes back later on. So, of course.
So how to, I would say, start an AI agent project? So how did you start in your concrete project?
So first, for me, it started with the sales team. So we started by actually figuring out what the sales team most tedious tasks were, and figuring out how we can help them. First, they became our first promoters to actually get this type of solution in their hands. Two is actually, working also with the unions. For us, it's very important because, AI, whenever you start speaking AI in the hand of people, it starts triggering fears. Triggering fears because, what are going to be the jobs tomorrow if you take away this job, this activity? What is going to be the new role of a salesperson in the future? So we actually took a lot of time to work with our unions to actually be very pedagogical. So my recommendation here is to over-communicate than under-communicate, because if you under-communicate on AI agents, people start being afraid of it. So in our case, we started to think about it as, how can we enable our salespeople to actually do more what they like, do more what they got hired for, and also for our sales force, it's a bit of a competition for them. I'm going to use, I think, a quote, a guy that I really like, a researcher from Harvard. His name is Karim Lakhani. Karim Lakhani used this sentence that I think is very powerful. AI and generative AI and agentic AI will not replace humans. But in my view, the humans that use agentic AI will replace the humans that don't. So it means that you need to adapt. It needs to be part of your job. And your job will change. So there is no job that will, in 5 years, that will be the same as today. I'm convinced that every single job will have to evolve. So our duty as a company is to make sure that we support our employees to take this wave, to ride this wave. When the computer arrived 20, 30 years ago in companies, it was a massive change. I remember, personally, my mother coming back, she was working for Renault. She came back at home and she had to do Excel. And I was a teenager and I was helping her adopt Excel, and that she would be able to do new tasks that she was not doing in the past. She would do reports for her boss. She would do analysis on her own, and it was a massive change. So this exact same new wave is agentic AI. So communication for me was a big part of the start.
So you communicate regularly, strongly in your enterprise,
so
and how do you associate also a governance instances?
Yeah, exactly. So then behind that is also to embark, all of the tech team and build a new product in a way, that a product that where the typical life cycle for development is much, much shorter, as I was telling you at the beginning, than a typical IT project. So it's also a matter of changing the way we govern the portfolio of projects, that we actually are ready to do sleeves of 2 to 3 weeks where we deliver, and we take a time to step back to see the result, to put it in the hand of users, versus a typical IT project that would take 6-9 months, and with heavy testing, heavy controls, and then putting that in the hand of the users way later. So it's a really new way of working out delivery, tech delivery, with our teams.
Okay, so thank you for showing us that Agentic AI is already reality
in action. Yes.
In action. And how to start and to build this concretely. Maybe we can have still some minute to take some questions if you want.
5 minutes.
Yes.
Any questions from the group? Yeah. El Peter.
Bonjour. Merci. Sorry. Thank you for the presentation. When did you start your Agentic AI development, and how long before the first instance was in the hands of your Salesforce?
Yeah, so it took to build an MVP of solution. It took like about 2 months to go from ideation, thinking, and integrating the different bricks that enable you to do that. The good news about these agents is that it's much more of an assembly. It's also a big change, I think, in the competencies you need in your team, because you actually assemble components that are typically offered by the big cloud providers or generative AI providers. In this case, we've used Mistral. We could have used something else. We also wanted to be purposefully using a French solution and a European solution for this, given also it's in the hands of our employees in France. And Mistral is also at the forefront, and you probably saw all the announcements during this event. It's actually amazing. But you actually need way less typical developers, but much more like Gen AI architect who are able to assemble the bricks. You need also to have to build a data set, which is a kind of a first task to actually define what is a good. In my case, it was how to write a good report. What is to be into a good report. And after that,
and a bad report also.
And exactly, and teach it. What are the things that you don't want to see in a report, and maybe the guy might tell you, but might not be very good to have, in a written report. So it's very important to actually be very selective and only keep the things that are that you can keep also, because they are in terms of responsible AI as well. Like you might collect information and you are not allowed to collect. Because when people speak, they tend to say much more than when they actually write. Because speaking is costs less time than actually writing.
Is there another question?
Thank you.
Yes, so thank you for this talk. So I wanted to ask, we talked a lot about agents. And we have like CRM agents, service agents, or sales. And I wanted to hear your thoughts about how important it is to have one platform where you can group all the agents, and how important it would be for employees or the client possibly to only have to go through one interface for the different agents.
Yes, so this is a very good question. I think maybe there is no definitive answer yet, because you have and we have also some platforms to develop agents that can verticalize and go in the different functions, but you will have also more and more agents inside the different softwares, editors softwares. So for example, ERP, EPM, and so on. And the question, which is still open, but we are working on this is how in your platform to, I would say, orchestrate all the agents and also to put a responsible AI framework, can you communicate to the different tools, and yes, can you have control and visibility on this? So, and these are also how to develop protocols for communication between different tools. So this is, we have seen some announcement on this, and so this is still in progress.
I'm going to add on this because I think there are two levels of platforms. For me, there is a platform that actually runs the generative AI, and then the platform in a way that is facing the users. The way we've approached it is that we've decided to actually build, so we call it Lucia, our agent. Lucia is the agentic platform for the salespeople. What it means is that behind the scenes, there might be multiple agents running, coming ultimately from different sources of technologies, etc. But for the end user, it's one single front end, one single agent. So just like, when you think about Amazon, they built Alexa. Alexa has a number of apps behind the scene, but it's one front end. So the idea for us is to build basically one front end, one like a master agent that faces every type of employee. So there will be one for salespeople, one for the legal team, one for our procurement team. We want to make it very simple so that every key function has one single point, anchor point, where we can deploy more and more features, more and more agents. So it's that then agent become very user-centric in a way, because you get this almost Lucia, and then we also use a first name to make it very personable as well, so that the person knows Lucia is here to help me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for the talk. And once the agents are deployed and are communicating with clients, how do you evaluate the quality of their communication? Like, are they overlooked by humans or maybe by another AI, or you just look maybe at metrics? So,
very good question. We were discussing this yesterday. I think it can be an hybrid approach. Yes. So for sure, and this is how you start implementing this. So maybe first you design a test set. This is exactly what you said, collecting a good report, bad report, and then you can also evaluate on the test set the quality of your AI. Then you can have also, I would say, for a new request of report, have human supervision. And then this is the next level. This is LLM as a judge, and so you can have also agents that will control the different agents, but still with human supervision.
I agree. So for me, we're starting very much with the human supervision today. The vision, and that we were discussing yesterday with Axel, is that the vision is really to start deploying agents that oversee agents, to make sure that you also you have high scrutiny, because you also want to make sure that these kind of things don't derive. So when it is facing your employees, the level of risk is actually lower. If something goes wrong, it's internal. When you start putting agents in front of customers, like for example for responsible AI, and you might have like an agent that starts recommending things that you don't want it to recommend to the customers, it starts becoming a corporate risk. So of course this is where you are going to have a very high scrutiny, especially when in the example of playing at night, when you don't have a human able to oversee what the agent is doing at night, you need to have a machine do that. So for me, the next frontier, people in my network are starting to think about it. I haven't seen anybody yet really having a master orchestrator able to operate a fleet of agents. I think it's part of the literacy right now. Maybe some of the more advanced tech firms have that, in their labs today. But it's clearly the next frontier, because as we deploy a vast array of agents, there will be no other choice than actually automating this supervision.
Thanks.
Last question.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you for the talk. My question is, like, you talk about the always communicating and embarking people and this agentic AI adoption. My question is, like, once you communicate, do you have, and what are the indicators of like measurement of adoption, but also the resistance to the change that is happening?
So today I'm still I'm very early in the deployment phase, but how I want to play it, at least for my salespeople, it's going to be easy, I think, because they are very competitive. As any salesperson, they like to have the best number at the end of the year. They want to also they are incentivized on their ability to sell. So I'm convinced that the only way to make it adopt is to show that they are increasing their numbers.
Do you have a kind of competition to participate to the pilot between your sales people?
So first, I'm assembling in one of my our region. First, like a kind of an A/B testing approach, where one region will actually move to this model, and hopefully, in a few months, we will come back and say, look, we were here, now we are here, and everything else being equal, we've used our agentic model, agentic solution, Lucia, to help us, and we freed up time, and this time we reinvested it, and this reinvestment of the time translates into numbers at the end, because either because we sell more, either because it's not only about selling, by the way, for our salespeople. They also make sure that our point of sale are compliant with the rules, the way they display the products. So the compliance is very important. It's a big incentive for them. So having a metric that shows that in the end is very convincing will be, for me, the best way to make the adoption happen. And with this population, I'm very much convinced that it's going to work, because they have this competitive spirit, and they also, they at the end of the year, every year they get a higher objective, new challenges. For example, this year we're sending a big signal in the network. We are opening 500 points of sales in supermarkets and hypermarkets, and it's new. And it's new because this point of sale didn't have this kind of products in the past. So you need a lot of human time to support them, to explain them how they need to distribute this product, sell them to their customers. And this time, it needs to be found somewhere. So if you can free up your time by doing less admin and more time with this point of sale, then you're going to maximize also the success of this point of sale.
Thank you very much, Sébastien.
Thank you, Axel.
Thank you, everybody. We can continue the conversation after the session if you want.
Thank you.